Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Namo Namaha Kam
Well, we're here. And it looks like a couple of you have found us. It was very strange. Namaste. Welcome to our weekly online satsang. We started the live stream and suddenly it stopped. Usually I can just start it again, but they switched us from my profile main page to the video collection. So it took me a few minutes to figure out how to get the live video that was streaming on another tab on my Facebook page to appear on the profile page.
First, it took you a minute to figure out where it was being streamed.
That's true. I didn't even know it was there. And then when I found it, I took the URL and I pasted it there on the profile page and said, click here to watch the live video, which you may have done. That would have brought you immediately to the video, but I found another way to bring it right onto the main page. I just posted that URL. And there it is.
Well, it's so funny because you look at me for answers and I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're the tech guy.
Huh. Okay. Well. Hi, Stacy. You made it.
Yay.
Technology has just been so wackadoodle lately. The world is in a state of flux, and it's been affecting us, but we're keeping our sense of humor, and we're going to keep on keeping on. We will get through to you, with you, one way or another. So, every Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, USA, we do these global satsangs. We have people join us from other countries and other continents. Usually More is with us, and she's currently living, as far as I know, in Colombia. And we have people from the other side of the planet. And it's wonderful. That's one of the wonderful opportunities that the internet provides for us, is the ability to connect with people in other continents and other lands where there would be various boundaries that would be difficult for us to cross to meet in person. But here we are. And it's so important on the spiritual path that we connect with others who are awakening. We have more in common with each other, those of us who are awakening, who are flowering into oneness with the divine source. We have more in common with each other than we do with the people who belong to the churches or the spiritual traditions of our youth, who are not yet experiencing the same transformations that you and we may be. So when we come together like this, that's a satsang, Sanskrit word that means community of truth. Literally, it's just a spiritual community whenever two or more people on the path of awakening come together to share their journeys. We strengthen one another exponentially. So glad you're here. We share throughout these webcasts the Flowering Heart Blessing, a direct transmission of divine presence and grace, light, awakened consciousness that catalyzes awakening in the receivers. But also, if you are in the process of awakening, it will smooth the journey, dissolve blocks, give you grace for whatever stage of the journey you're in. If you're already awakened, it will take you deeper. As I am often saying here, awakening is not a destination. It's an ongoing journey of infinite expansion and transformation. So the Flowering Heart Blessing is a transmission that the Divine gave to me and Suzanne about 10 years ago. And we've been involved for decades in transmissions of spiritual energy that catalyze awakening and transformation. This one is very special because it focuses very much on the divine within and causes it to begin to expand and flower and shine from the inside out. Hence, averting sort of a danger that happens along the way for many of us, that we become dependent on something outside of ourselves as the source of grace and awakening, when the divine in all of its fullness, the source of all existence, dwells within us at the center of our being. And so the flowering heart blessing goes right to that place and causes it to begin to blossom and expand. And so that's what we're doing here. Please join us. It's free. And if you've received it once and you're receiving it right now, and you connect with this presence, this wonderful energy of awakening and transformation, just invite the divine to pour it through you. You're already fully initiated. And hold the space and hold the intention that the blessing will flow through you and through all of us to everyone who tunes in to this video, whether it's tonight or next week or a year from now. For spiritual presence is unbounded by time or separation in space. So whenever anyone turns on this video and begins to watch, boom, they're here with us now in the eternal present. What else?
I think that's it.
Well, a week ago Sunday, we had our Communion with the Cosmic Christ we do once a month. And it was kind of a special topic. They're always special to me, but the divine really downloaded freedom from cares, cravings, and compulsions. And over the last, just over a week since that was transmitted, we have had more people view it than any other Communion with the Cosmic Christ we've ever done. A healthy number of people tune in and watch it, and it's kind of special. We only do it once a month. It's interfaith. Everyone is welcome to experience the presence of the Cosmic Christ. If you didn't watch it, I encourage you to tune in. We've just hit numbers on that are unusual for that particular webcast. So I know there's a lot of grace flowing. I think that's about it. I guess we all need to hold the intention that whenever we tune into online transmissions of spiritual grace and teaching, that everything will just flow nice. It certainly has been strange. So we like to open it at this point to questions and answers on the spiritual journey, things you might be encountering or you might just be wondering about. And that moves the divine to pour inspiration through me and Suzanne that helps us all. For while our journeys are unique and different, they all are parallel, and we go through very similar experiences along the way. So your sharing of your questions will help everyone. Volume is a little low. I could fix that.
Okay.
I have to get up, though, to do it.
Okay.
What next? I'll be right back. How's that? Is that better? I can turn it up even more if that's still low. Give me some feedback before we dive in. How's the volume for you? It's better. Okay. Because I can turn it up even more. Would it help if I turned it up more now, or it's fine for you? Okay. I realize I can turn it up even more these days.
Getting the kinks out.
Yep. So while I'm waiting for you to listen to that inner voice that might give you a question to share with the group tonight, I'm going to share some quotes from a website that I just love. to visit. And let's see. I'm going to do this one. These are quotes to take, trust quotes to take through life. These are from inspiringquotes.com, where a group of authors writes brief articles on relevant topics and then share quotes from some amazing people. This is by Tony Donnell. He's an English writer of nonfiction and fiction living on the edge of the Amazon jungle. And here's what Tony says about trust. Trust no one, goes the famous tagline from the X-Files. That's where that came from. It's sound advice in a world under attack from aliens, ghosts, and all manner of fantastic creatures. But in the real world, trust is a trickier issue. A recent Pew Research survey found that young adults in the U.S. were particularly untrusting and more likely to see others, including institutions and politicians, as selfish, exploitative, and untrustworthy. While blind trust isn't a good thing, a certain level of trust is important. Without it, we would be eternally suspicious and ultimately alone. As English novelist Graham Greene once wrote, quote, "It is impossible to go through life without trust. That is to be imprisoned in the worst cell of all, one's self." This idea that trust is a fundamental necessity both personally and in wider human society has been echoed by many famous writers, philosophers, politicians, and more. Here is a selection of wise words regarding trust from the ancient Greek philosopher Democritus to the modern pop star Selena Gomez. So let's dive in. Do not trust all men, but trust men of worth. The former course is silly, the latter a mark of prudence. Democritus. Love all. Trust a few. Do wrong to none. William Shakespeare. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Few things can help an individual more than to place responsibility on him and to let him know that you trust him. Booker T. Washington. I think we may safely trust a good deal more than we do. We may waive just so much care of ourselves as we honestly bestow elsewhere. Henry David Thoreau. You must trust and believe in people, or life becomes impossible. Anton Chekhov. It is a good maxim to trust a person entirely or not at all. Henry Fielding, novelist. Every kind of peaceful cooperation among men is primarily based on mutual trust. Albert Einstein. A man who trusts nobody is apt to be the kind of man nobody trusts. Harold Macmillan, former UK Prime Minister. Before a cat will condescend to treat you as a trusted friend, some little token of esteem is needed, like a dish of cream. T.S. Eliot. We grow in time to trust the future for our answers. Ruth Benedict, anthropologist. An anthropologist, an expert on the past. Beautiful. The way to make people trustworthy is to trust them. Ernest Hemingway. The best proof of love is trust. Joyce Brothers, psychologist. Don't trust people who don't laugh. Maya Angelou. Trust is like the air we breathe. When it is present, nobody really notices. When it is absent, everybody notices. Warren Buffett. Trust in what you love. Continue to do it, and it will take you where you need to go. Natalie Goldberg, author. Trust is the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. Stephen Covey, motivational author and speaker. Earn trust. Earn trust. Earn trust. Then you can worry about the rest. Seth Godin, entrepreneur and author. Trust what actually enables society to keep moving forward. Trust is what enables innovation to happen. Trust is the conduit that enables new ideas to travel. Rachel Botsman, author. If you have 3 people in your life that you can trust, you can consider yourself the luckiest person in the whole world. Selena Gomez. Those were interesting. We usually talk about love as being the glue that holds life together, that holds all things together, that is the glue that bonds relationships. And I think it is. I also think it could be said that trust is the foundation of love. Or perhaps love is the foundation of trust, but they're intermingled in a way that's inseparable. There is no love where there is no trust. And when I read that last one earlier today, if you have 3...
I don't think that's true.
Don't think what's true?
That there's no love when there is no trust. Because I think that, people are maybe struggling with family members or children or parents
that you love but you don't trust.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go a step farther.
Okay.
I thought about that very thing, and I thought you might actually say that. And we've been meditating about the life and the teachings, the path of Peace Pilgrim. And she would say, no matter how wicked, no matter how hard, no matter how troubled a person is, deep inside of them is something good, something true. And she would always look at that and trust that in the situation. So I think that's what we're talking about. But that's certainly true. Yeah. And I think Tony Donnell, the author here, started with blind trust is not wise. There are people, obviously, we can't trust, so I'm glad you said that, because that has to be addressed. But yet, even when we're looking at a person that is the most untrustworthy in our lives, deep, deep, deep inside of them is something that's trustworthy, and it's the divine within them. If you can find unconditional love for that untrustworthy person, you've found something you can trust in them that can override all of that, but still use wisdom.
Yeah. I always thought it was great when our kids were growing up. I could always just leave money laying around or, put it in a drawer and they knew where it was. And if I wasn't available for them to ask, they would always let me know afterwards and return it or see if it was okay. And then I've known other parents that couldn't even keep a dollar bill in their wallets in their purse because their kids would take it. And I was always, it always really touched me that I had that kind of trust with my children. It was really good.
Now you're saying speak close to the microphone so the volume is not okay.
Maybe it's because it's raining.
No, it's not as loud as I would think.
Huh.
The slide on the far right, slide it all the way up.
On just one or two?
What?
On one or two?
The slide on the far right.
It says main?
Yes, all the way up.
Okay.
Is it all the way up?
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound a lot better.
It was almost all the way up.
I know, and right above it is a little dial switch set at 12.
Yeah.
Turn it up to 1.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening with the, I agree the volume's too low. We'll work on it later.
Okay. Ask Stacy if that's better.
Is it better, More? Testing, 1, 2, 3. We've got to get past these technical issues, and I don't want anyone to not be able to hear. Is it better? You said thank you, but you did before too, and it still wasn't loud enough. Is it loud enough? Because I can make it louder. So just be honest. Tell me how it is for you. Turn it up to 2 o'clock. 2, testing, 1, 2. Yeah, there's something about the volume that's not increasing with the controls over there. Okay.
All right.
I can hear okay. Well, that's not great. It should be booming. Robert Reister says loud and clear. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe the wires are blurred between here and Colombia, Morelia. We will clear them. We will pray for grace to clear the lines. Yeah, no, I don't need to put it closer to my mouth. It's a condenser mic that picks up a huge field. But you're saying it's still too low for you, huh? Evidently. It's strange. We should be getting feedback turned up that loud.
Yeah.
How's yours? Is it even turned on?
It off so it wouldn't be loud getting up. Okay, how's that?
We should be feeding back all over the place. I have to check our batteries. And
Okay.
we'll get this thing worked out. Okay.
Yet another week of technical difficulties.
I'm done. This is all just volume, volume, volume. Okay, but backing up to Stacy. I'm reeling with rage and sorrow over a personal betrayal. The anger at the offender is flying freely, and I'm surprised at how vicious I am. At the present time, I feel no compassion, only anger. What is the way out of this? Praying for grace. The way out of it is to feel your anger. It is a very powerful emotional charge. To repress it does damage. To express it does damage as well. I encourage you to deeply feel it. Oftentimes, anger flies freely because we're trying to hold it in check. And the more we try to hold it back, it's like it's fed. Rage is, it's at that point it's becoming compulsive. And that teaching from 2 Sundays ago deals with obsessive, compulsive behavior, which rage is one of them. So you might listen to that. But yeah, can't we be vicious? We all can. We're human beings. It's part of every one of us. And one of the worst things that we can experience is personal betrayal of someone who's close to us. And there's deep sorrow, and that's probably the heart of it. And that sorrow is often expressed not necessarily appropriately as anger and rage. But anger is a perfectly acceptable emotion. I've had so many arguments with spiritual friends over the years that have said anger is always bad. Well, it isn't always bad. I mean, Christ became angry, I think more than once, but a clear example is when he entered the temple, which he was familiar with from the time he was just a child and would go in there to converse and teach the elders of Israel as a boy, like 12 years old. And he saw people that had tables set up to exchange money in the temple of God. And it made him mad. And he took a rope and he made a whip of 9 tails. And he overturned all of their tables and he drove them out of the temple with a whip, saying, my Father's house is to be a house of prayer for all people, and you have turned it into a den of thieves. Now, that was appropriate anger. I'm sure he didn't physically hurt anybody. He needed to get their attention, but most of us are not able to express anger in a clear, moderated way, especially when there's rage involved, and we can become, as you said, vicious. The only way I know out of that is don't try to repress it. Deeply allow it to pass through you. An emotional charge, when it is fully experienced, will discharge and lose its charge, lose the energy. Emotion is energy in motion. Emotion. So in this case, it's angry emotion in motion. We don't want that. But the anger is legitimate and you need to feel it to make appropriate decisions and responses. But let that energy flow through you, deeply felt and experienced until it discharges. And then you'll be free to choose your response, not to react out of control.
Well, I would say too, don't judge yourself. I think I recall a couple months ago saying that I was dealing with some betrayals over the last year. And for me, it was one, important to validate that I had a reason to be angry. And you know, sometimes it would come out sideways, sometimes it would come out just straight. And open communication, if it was possible with the people, then that was important too, but not until I had processed it myself. And the other thing that was helpful for me as well, and going forward in the future, was looking at my side of the situation that possibly I contributed to leading up to that. And in one circumstance, there was nothing I could have done. In another one, there was something I could have done. So I thought, you know, this has happened this year. I need to learn and grow from this and own my part in it. And if during deep soul searching, it wasn't anything on my part that might have brought it on, but it was a pattern that I was seeing this year. So just going deeper in your spiritual process and be gentle with yourself, and you know, time heals all wounds. It will smooth over, but you know, until we get to the core reason why that's happening to us in the first place and look at our part. I'm not saying that, you know, we deserved it or we made it happen or we created it, but to a certain element, the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. So we need to look within so that we can avoid having that happen in the future. And yes, we have the same birthday. I understand that viciousness. When somebody wrongs us, especially Libras, we're usually generally really happy and positive and outgoing. But yeah, there is a side, like Michael said, to all of human nature. And yeah, so just don't judge yourself, and we will be sending you lots of love and grace to get through this.
And when you said, I can feel no compassion at this time, I understand that. At the same time, this saintly person whose life we've been meditating on, and she was viciously, physically attacked, betrayed, and her life put in danger, and felt nothing but sadness and compassion for that pathetic person. I mean, wow. I mean, rather than defensiveness and anger and legitimate things that she could have felt, she felt so sad that that person was so messed up and disordered, so full of darkness, so far from the light, that they felt the need to attack another human being and cause physical damage.
Right.
Another great example, the first martyr of the Christian church. You can read about Saint Stephen in the book of Acts. And they killed him just for telling the truth. I mean, he was honest. He told a bunch of people what was his truth, and they stoned him. And as they were stoning him to death, he said, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." He felt compassion for them, even though they were murdering him, that they were causing such damage to their own souls. And he prayed for them in the face of God. That is okay. Granted, most of us are not there. But there is something inside of us that is.
Right. Something to aspire to.
Well, if we go deep enough inside, we come to the Christ within. And the Christ within had that same compassion as he was nailed to the cross and hanging there totally unjustly. And I mean, he told Peter, I could just with a word, I can summon more than 12 legions of angels, like more than 144,000 angels in an instant to do battle. He showed how strong it was. When they came to arrest him, they said, "We're looking for Jesus of Nazareth." And he said, "I am." And it was so powerful, blew them all over backwards. Imagine if he had summoned 144,000 warrior angels. But he didn't do anything like that. He just embraced the sadness in its totality. I understand we're not Christ. Aha. But at our deepest center, we are. We are expressions of the one being of this universe, the one consciousness. And so we can always draw on that. There are times we'll choose not to because we're so hurt, because we're so betrayed, because we're so angry. And that makes me sad. I've been there. Suzanne just described it. We've all been there. Robert Reister writes, "Anger was liberating for me. I never let myself be angry, and it cost me dearly. Now that I let it flow out of me, my life changed for the best." Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the only times I saw my anger really destructive were when I judged myself, judged it, and I tried to restrain it, and it's like it possessed me. It just took over, and I found myself saying and doing things that I regretted. But anger can be a very pure expression of your deep self. And yeah, I'm so glad that was liberated, Rob, because otherwise it would have consumed you and you would have exploded. And it's, yeah. Wow. Well,
Thanks for sharing, Stacy.
Yeah.
This is going to help a lot of people, this conversation. So.
And Stacy wrote, "This is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll look up the Sunday service."
It's helpful for everyone, anybody that watches this webcast, because we all wrestle with these issues, and we all, get triggered, and all different kinds of stuff comes up in our lives. And so being able to flow through it and have support and to be real, you were just real, and that really opens up a lot of grace and a lot of healing energy to help you. Yeah, for all of us. Yeah.
Often the source of these deep emotional energies is something we've experienced in life early on. I did. I experienced a lot of anger directed at me that no one was witness to but me and maybe one other person. And it wounded me deeply. And so because I had all that anger in me, it would start to come up inside of me as anger and rage. And I'm so healed. It's so wonderful for that, whatever the source of it is. And Suzanne said, we have to find that.
Yeah.
Not just the anger, but what may it be at work in us that's creating these outer situations in life? Because the outer world tends to reflect unresolved issues within us. Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you again, Stacy, because I just had a recollection from when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it was a very deep betrayal. My stepfather and mother were arguing, and he was throwing things, and I got afraid, and I called 911, and I went and I hid in my brother's closet. None of my siblings were in the house anymore. They were all in college. And I ran and I hid because I thought I was going to get in so much trouble, but I was really, really scared that he was going to hurt her. And the police came and they just whitewashed it over. I was standing by the stairs listening, and they said, you know, she was just overreacting, and we got in an argument, and everything's fine, and there's no problem here. She's just very sensitive. And I was afraid for my life because I'd called the police on them. And just to hear them whitewashing it to the police officer, that was a very deep betrayal for me. And I didn't feel safe with my mother or my stepfather in my own home. So I'm going to meditate more on that experience. That could be, part of the reason why that pattern is repeating in my life. That's, thank you very much, Stacy. That was very healing.
Time to move on.
Okay.
Wow, thank you. That was
We're all learning and growing together.
Let me check real.
Ooh.
There's the feedback.
There's the feedback.
I think it's my microphone. Remember before it started to get really...
No.
Yeah, and I was going to replace it. Anyway, I didn't. So where are we? I just want to check and see if anyone left any comments over here. All righty. All right, we're good. So, if you would, just close your eyes and invoke the presence in your heart. Again, to quote Rumi, the great mystic poet, you're not just a drop of the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. It's all inside of you. Welcome the light, the love, the grace of the divine presence within you to flood your heart. To fill your heart with light, love, and grace to shine out into your soul, the realm of your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, your memories, and heal them. The divine presence within you yearns to clear the realm of your thoughts, your hurts, your feelings, your pains, and to fill your soul with divinely inspired feelings, ideas, plans. Welcome the presence to flood your heart, to flood your soul, to set you free from suffering. There is no separation between you and God. that was the worst of religious teaching and untrue. In the presence of God, you live and move and have your being. And it yearns to embrace you and heal you and transform you in oneness with Source and with all that is. Welcome. Drink in, breathe in, soak up the presence. More and more and more. There's nothing to do in this moment but receive the grace that is pouring out to you. It wants to flood your physical body with divine life and healing grace. Just receive the healing presence of divine light. Let it flood your body and melt the pain and the disease, to fill you with health and strength. Allow it to shine in your relationships, to heal them and to set them right. Shine through you, spirit, soul, and body, through you and all of your relationships into the world, to ripple out from you through all around you. To catalyze the same process in everyone you encounter. Imagine we're sitting in a circle together, a blessing circle. And with your eyes closed, lift up your hands with your palms open, facing the middle of the circle, and put your problem there. Just let go of the burden you're carrying. And we all take an intention together and ask the divine to lift that burden from your shoulders, from your heart, to set it right, to heal it. To heal you. Just relax your hands in your lap, and when you're ready, open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me, either of us, both of us. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes. As the light meditation begins, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of love, light, and grace. It streams through our whole being to you, especially through our eyes. As you just keep looking, the light streams out through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts. Causes the light of awakening and the fire of divine love to burn brighter and brighter within you. There's nothing for you to do but just keep looking and receive. close your eyes now. Meditate with us just a few more moments as the grace settles within. Keep meditating as long as you like. You could also find a place to lie down in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose where you lie comfortably on your back. Close your eyes. Let your arms be loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward, and just dissolve with gratitude in the presence. We love you very much.
Much love, mindfulness.
Until we meet again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you. Namaste.
Namaste.